I know that Jesus is looking for friends, and I am his friend. And all of the bus drivers that I have to and from the VA, I always ask them if they know my friend Jesus. I have AMD, Macular Degeneration. It's inherited. My mother had it. My brother up in Oregon has it. He's about as blind as I am. And I am just beyond legally blind. I can still cook. I still do my own laundry. I still take care of myself. The only thing I can't do really is drive. So I can't drive myself to church. I can't drive to the store. I can't drive to the VA. So I'm dependent on others for that. Fortunately, the girl next door is happy to bring me to church. As far as the Olympics, you have to be 55 or older, and I went for about 14 years. Senior Olympics for veterans. I heard of other people going, but I didn't know that I could just sign up for it. I've been to Houston and Des Moines and Birmingham and Detroit, St. Louis. Always brought back at least one gold medal. The first year, I didn't know what it was all about. I don't remember all the games I took. I do remember that we had croquet, and I had two guys with me in my group. And they knew what they were doing, and I didn't. I'd never played before. I didn't really get much practice, but the guys that I was with helped me with that. I didn't win anything, but I didn't expect to. I did quarter and half mile bike. I figured, well, once you learn to ride a bike, you know how to ride a bike. So I didn't practice that either. But I had some good officials that were there, and when I got on the bike, they would steady the bike, and they held it for me while I was on there, and they gave me a push start. So that worked out, and I made it through the quarter mile. And then when I got to the half mile, I don't know how many people were there, but I know that I got all the way through it. And by the time I got to the end of it, there wasn't anybody left out there, so I was worried about how I would get back to the hotel. But they managed to get me back for that. Since then, I've done field events, discus, shot put, javelin. And I've done swimming, both 25 and 50 meter, and I've done bowling, did shuffleboard. Now, because I can't see well, I'm in the low vision games, and they only have 5 available to take for that. I don't know whether it's fortunate or unfortunate. They don't have anybody in my age group, so I usually end up with a bunch of gold medals. And then I have a lot of people telling me that I don't deserve them because I wasn't competing against anybody. But, you don't know when you sign up who you're going to compete against. So I just do the best I can with what I have. I can remember when I was 8, we lived in Minneapolis, and I would walk down to church in the snow. I had questions about some of the things that came up, like Sabbath and the meat you could eat. And somebody always had an answer for it, but it never satisfied me. And then many years later, I took the White Bible course when I lived in Huntington Beach. And I didn't know that it was Seventh-day Adventist when I started the lessons. I did when we got to the Sabbath, but mostly the lessons answered the questions that I had when I was a kid. When we moved to Oregon, we started attending the Seventh-day Adventist Church, my brother and I and my husband and kids. We were working in Sabbath school doing missionary story, and he'd sing, and we finally asked them, what did it take to join the church? And they said, baptism. So I said, okay, and they baptized us. I've listened to the Lee Benden tapes and the Elizabeth Talbot tapes and picked up a lot of information from that. I know that Jesus is looking for friends, and I am his friend. And all of the bus drivers that I have to and from the VA, I always ask them if they know my friend Jesus. I've only had one that said, who? He says, I know a Jesus, but all the bus drivers at the VA and all the ones from Journey, they are all good people who all say that yes, they know Jesus, and he's their best friend, and maybe they don't spend enough time with them. They need to spend more. So at least I remind them. I've been a member here for 44 years. For a few years before that, I was listening to KSGN and about the university sermons, and that's all I had. So I knew Curtis Bradford was the senior pastor here, and I knew him from Oregon. So I came and told him that I was just listening to the radio, and I wanted to come to church, but I needed something to do. And he says, we need another secretary. So I was a secretary for several years, and then I was a treasurer for several years, and I sang in the choir for 16 years, and then I was treasurer for Pathfinders for several years. I feel God has been leading me in all of the things that I've been doing, at least since I took the Bible course. Several months ago, I started morning worship, and I don't know how to pray, I don't know how to worship, but I do the best I can, and I get together with Jesus every morning. And that's helping a lot. Jesus wants friends in heaven, and he's going to be my friend down here so that I can be his friend up there. Part of what all of the sermons are that I listen to all the time is how he wants them to love him, which I do. And I'm trying to learn more about him all the time. I want a hug from God. I want to know that I'm accepted. I've been rejected everywhere all my life. I want to know I'm accepted, and God is waiting to hug us all. I'm Jean Patterson, and this is my story.
I'm Pastor Tara Van Cross, and we're so glad that you've tuned into our Azure Hills Church YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe, and click on the bell so that you'll be notified every time we share new videos. We are so glad that you're here. Until next time, please know that we're praying for you as you continue to be a voice of hope.